Ryan, the man, Ben Eric, in the voice of NEW. Berry, hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT, handing out smackdowns. Follow on IG Plus. It's sponsored by Tagging Your Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Oh, hell yeah.
A happy, healthy, drunk Austin 316 day.
What?
Austin 316
What?
day. I said Austin 316
What?
day. And that's the bottom line because the fucking War Report said so. Vinnie Mac, take it away, my friend.
That is the bottom line, Steve. Welcome, everybody, to the War Report, brought to you by TagMeDate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of professional wrestling. Yes, this site is currently under construction. However, hopefully we can provide updates on that soon enough. With all that out of the way, of course, we are the War Report crew here, and we do live streaming all over the internet. So whether you're catching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, wherever, thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to the audio version of the podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google, or Apple Podcasts, we very much appreciate you tuning in. I've got one brief announcement. So these guys already know about it. You've probably seen it if you followed us on social media. But I do want to make one brief announcement. Steve usually is the one playing songs, but I've got to do. Can you guys hear? So, listen. If you don't recognize the song or if it's too low, I don't know why my volume's so low. But anyway, that. So that is Mr. Platinum Max Caster, part of the Acclaimed from All Elite Wrestling, and happy to say that TagMeDate.com and the War Report podcast are going to be sponsoring Max Caster's appearance at Blitzkrieg Pro Wrestling's Scratch the Surface, May 7th of this year. It's at the Country Banquet Hall in Enfield, Connecticut. There's only 100 tickets being sold due to current COVID regulations for indoor events. Masks are required. And hopefully I can get a few words with Max. Hopefully I can talk to Blitzkrieg Pro guys, maybe get some other guys on the show, beforehand to promote the event. I would like to work on getting Max on the show since we are sponsoring his appearance that day. Otherwise, I will get a video with him the day of the event, and we'll put it up on YouTube.
Vince, question.
Yes, sir.
Will Blitzkrieg, the WCW Cruiserweight, be there?
Unfortunately, as much as I've tried to find that guy, he retired and went into like IT work. Okay. And no, Blitzkrieg will not be there.
He was pretty awesome in the day.
He was fantastic, and then he actually sold the name Blitzkrieg to somebody else, and there was like a Blitzkrieg 2 for a few years. But anyway, Platinum Max Caster from AEW is going to be at Blitzkrieg Pro once again. That's what, May the 7th, Enfield, Connecticut. Just, if you put into Google Blitzkrieg Pro Wrestling, I'm sure you're going to find it. Blitzkriegpro.net for tickets. It should be a fun show. Smart Mark Sterling there from the Major Figure Brothers podcast with the former Ryder and Hawkins. So it should be a fun little show. Actually, Hawkins is but Brian Myers is going to be at this show as well. It's a nice little indie show. We're in everybody's in a tough time now. Wrestling shows have taken a back seat. Live events have taken a back seat. This is this company's first show back in over a year. So when I saw that they were asking for help and they were seeking sponsors to sponsor different wrestlers to come in, I reached out to them as soon as I found out about that, because I wanted to help a small business. I want to help a small wrestling company. And, I love pro wrestling. I believe in pro wrestling. And I believe that, guys like Max Caster, who's really jumped up in the last year, has got a big career ahead of him. So I'm very happy that our podcast and our website is going to be sponsoring a future top talent.
If you are a wrestling fan, this sort of thing should start to get you excited. If you feel comfortable and you feel safe enough, if you've been vaccinated, or if you're not going to get vaccinated and you just don't care, go support these local indie shows, because these are the places where it all starts. You know, there would be no Sasha Banks if there was no chaotic wrestling. You know, there would be no Donovan Dijak, Warbeard, Cesaro, Seth Rollins. The list goes on.
Mm-hmm. Most of NXT.
Right. I mean, roster. Indies is where it begins, and they need the support now more than ever. So it is our pleasure and our honor to, to be able to sponsor and be a part of a great indie promotion and some great AEW talent. Hopefully, we'll get some more. But even WrestleMania, I mean, I think it's a little bit too soon. If the numbers that they're going to allow in, they're going to allow. But, listen, at the end of the day, as a wrestling fan, I'm excited to finally have a crowd back live during something like WrestleMania. So, I'm kind of in between on it, because I really do think that it's too soon. And, we've come this far and we've waited this long. If we waited a little bit longer and kept the fucking mask on just for a little bit longer, until everyone has had an opportunity to get vaccinated that wants to get vaccinated, I think we're going to be in a much better place than with all these variants and everything. You just never know. And the last thing we want to do is start over. But as a wrestling fan, I'm excited to see fans back. So this is an exciting time, because this is that light at the end of the tunnel that we all have hoped for. It's upon us. As long as we're smart about it. So hopefully this isn't a mistake, but I am excited. So,
so here's the thing that for those of you who haven't been following along, WWE is planning on having 45,000 up to 45,000 people, both nights. So whether there's an overlap, which usually there is, maybe some people only go one night and some people only go the next. A majority of people will probably go both nights if they're paying to be in town. Let's call it 60,000 different individuals, potentially, because only a bit of them are going to be turning over between Saturday and Sunday. Anyway, the speculation is a few things. Are, as Steve mentioned, the infection rates and the numbers and all that. There's also, will there be 45,000 people willing to go to an event that has 45,000 people at it? Will they have enough people who are quote unquote brave enough or vaccinated enough or whatever the fuck to go down there and fill an arena like that?
I think there is.
I mean, there very well could be. Interestingly enough, WWE, once hearing that UFC is going to a full capacity arena in Florida for one of their upcoming events, WWE has, decided to not release the WrestleMania tickets yet. I don't know if this is a related thing, but the timing is very suspect. WWE announces they're going to be releasing tickets for WrestleMania. UFC kind of one-ups them by saying we're going to have a full arena, no capacity restrictions. And then like a day later, WWE decides to not release the ticket sales that day. The other thing is, which is potentially an influencer on their decision to not release the tickets, is if you don't know, like let's say you're a big Bobby Lashley fan, if you don't know what night Bobby Lashley and Drew are going to be the main event of, do you take a gamble and just buy one night? If you can only afford one night, let's say.
You're not going to WrestleMania to see just that match. So at the end of the day, and I'm figuring out a way to go to both shows. I mean,
if you were going, yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you there though. I don't care if anybody goes. Like I want 45,000 people there. Am I going to be one of them? No. But I want 45,000 people there for sure.
If I had a way, I'd be there.
I could get there and I have lodging and everything. I just man, it's Florida. If it was anywhere else but Florida, maybe. But not Anyway, that's kind of the big deal with the WrestleMania tickets right now. They've announced their capacity 45,000 for both nights, and they said they were going to release tickets, but they haven't yet. So I don't know if they're going to actually settle on. Listen, I can assume that night 1 is going to be the Raw World Championship, and night 2 is going to be the SmackDown World Championship.
Yeah.
If we're holding that night 2 is the true main event, if it's the true WrestleMania because that's Sunday, then it's Roman Reigns Edge. Easy peasy main event. Which apparently there's chatter of one of these matches, one of these 2 championship matches being turned into a triple threat.
I'd rather go with SmackDown than Raw. Get that.
So SmackDown, they would add Daniel Bryan, and on the Raw side, they would add Sheamus if they were to do either one of them. And I've heard like just a little bit of bubbling that one or earlier I heard it for SmackDown, and then afterward I heard it more for Raw. So I don't know. I don't know if anything's for certain.
There's going to be a crowd now too. So I don't think he's going to be a part of the match, but I could see him showing up and setting up a potential feud down the road. If you smell what I'm cooking.
True.
Apparently there has been contact with Heyman and The Rock.
What Heyman's saying.
Well, you know what though? The Rock has been very open to saying that he would come back to put Roman over, but he wouldn't do it without a crowd.
Yeah. Right. So maybe
now that right. And now that there's a crowd, he can still at least come out and just kind of tease the idea that it's going to happen.
Right.
I just had an idea. WrestleMania 38, a year from now, double main event. You got Roman Reigns versus The Rock, and Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar.
Just everybody's dream matches in one night, I guess. Yeah. Why not?
Listen, if there's a time to do it, it's WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's a hell of a WrestleMania already.
It would be. Brock has had like a year off already. He can just keep taking time off until then. Who cares?
Like, I know Lashley wants this match, and I really want him to have it, for his sake.
Yeah, I still don't know where we're going with this, because first of all, I guess if we're going to jump into Raw, if we jump into Raw, I find it confusing that they announce 2 hours, like an hour before the show or whatever, that Drew McIntyre is challenging Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, which totally fucks up Fastlane and makes the match not matter at Fastlane.
Yeah. Why didn't they just make it Drew versus Sheamus at Fastlane for the number 1 contendership?
We were all saying that last night. Yeah. We don't know. It's so dumb. So dumb. Also, we're just not going to acknowledge that Ryan blew his nose on air. Like, he didn't mute it.
Though.
Yeah, Ryan, there is a mute button, my friend.
He came in late because he had to take a piss, and then he's blowing his nose on air.
He dabbed, though.
He thinks he's the big star. Oh, I ripped the audio for the podcast version. He thinks he can come in here like a fucking big shot.
Sorry.
I sprayed Afrin in my nose before I got here, motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. I don't care.
Hi to our Facebook comment.
Hello, Facebook commenter. Oh, man. Yeah, let's get into Raw, because I had it on in the background while I was like cooking and watching YouTube and other stuff. I guess it happened. It existed. It in fact was 3 hours of wrestling.
There was absolutely nothing that blew me away on the show. I did want to talk about what sounds like is starting to become the big social media frenzy. People are not necessarily thrilled about Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods regaining the tag team titles for the 11th time.
What the fuck was that about?
I don't understand why you're taking it away from the Hurt Business right now. Like, they just started to get all the momentum.
We have 2 pay-per-views, and you did it on Monday night. There's a pay-per-view on the weekend. You could have done it on Sunday. Like, what? I just don't understand this. They're starting their relationship with Peacock, with NBC, $1 billion deal or whatever the fuck it was. and they're starting it off with this like shit ass in between B pay-per-view. Like I'm surprised that like JBL and Michael Cole aren't calling this thing. This is how
Hey, you know what though? Some of the matches though, I am looking forward to.
Yeah, but it's like, but they haven't.
Like, listen,
they could have had a title change on Fastlane.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I agree 100%. I agree. But what I'm just saying is, even though Fastlane's a shit pay-per-view, there are some good matches that I am looking forward to. Like now you got Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss, so you know the Fiend's coming out. So that's going to be worth the $10 or whatever the fuck we got to pay Peacock now, right off the bat. You know what I mean? Bobby Lashley. I mean, you've got some names. You got a decent lineup. I'm sure they're gonna fuck it up, but you know,
it's just this bad. We're just waiting. Like, you know what? They got all. This is this thing we've been saying for like the last couple of years. They have all the talent in the world, and they just find it. They find a way to fuck it up.
Fucking up is like Thanos. It's inevitable.
Why is Retribution still a thing?
They lost. Okay, so they had a segment where they just found an area of the backstage where they could stand and be brooding like the goth kids in high school, and Riddle rides through on his motorized scooter.
Hilarious.
Hey dudes, which already makes them look like complete fuck faces, because if you're a group of 5 bad guys and you see a guy coming from 5 miles away on a motor scooter, doesn't Dijak kick his head off? Somebody clotheslines him off the scooter. You're bad guys. Do what bad guys do. Don't just stand there.
They look like the goth kids from South Park.
Yeah,
I was gonna get there.
And then Ali's, I'm sick of our failures, this, that, and the other thing, and then he goes out and fucking loses and looks like a jabroni.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then
they're really trying.
After Raw is asking for a rematch for Fastlane.
Why don't
he'll lose again.
Why don't they just announce Jar Jar Binks as the newest member at this point? Can't get any worse.
J-Bar. J-Bar want to clothesline. Oh, no.
Throw Snooki in for the manager.
The single worst
the South Park Snooki.
Snooki just doing that.
Snarsh.
Oh, God.
I'm awful.
Yeah, so what else, did anything of importance happen on Raw aside from Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss?
Well,
let's
Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman looked like Nickelodeon.
I was just
and we brought back the slime.
Yeah, for those of you who are a little too young for this, just Google a little show called "You Can't Do That on Television," and
Alanis.
Yeah, that was Alanis Morissette's first gig. But
that's where she met Dave Coulier, and that.
Yeah, and that's where they started the slime thing that Nickelodeon has carried on for the last like 40 years. Was that show where they would slime people when they said a certain phrase? I forget what it is now, but there's more slime, like Slime Time Live and all this other slime stuff. All the slime.
It's like the Kids' Choice Awards.
And then did you guys see the football games where if they got in the end zone, it was called the slime zone? Like if you watch an NFL game.
Yeah, it was the when it was the one game on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, and they put the slime. They had like virtual slime cannons and shit, real goofy. So of course somebody thought it was a good idea to mix a whole bunch of vanilla pudding with green food dye, and have Shane McMahon, second in command of the company, heir to the throne when the old man dies, throwing green slime on a 7-foot monster power lifter, former Universal Champion,
who looks fucking jacked now, by the way.
And somehow everybody came out of it looking worse. Shane is just a big sweaty mess of like diabetes. Braun looks like a fucking goof. Like this is literally, like I said last week, when Shane was doing the slow voice. It's the big slow. Like it's the exact. We're reliving it 19 years later or whatever it is.
They didn't even do shit.
So
like
fun note.
Yeah, but there's a lot of kids now that didn't. They're living it for the first time also. So it was long enough where they can redo it again. You know what I'm saying? If they do it right.
Knocking my belt's over. See, the spirit of Harley Race keeps knocking this belt over every time we talk about this shitty wrestling.
Though you'll get a kick out of it. You have been slimed. The key words were "I don't know."
Yes, it was. I don't
Right.
know.
Yes, it was. I don't know.
Fine.
And then
Ah.
when the Cold War was still going on, they had fucking red slime at some point.
Communist slime.
Communist slime.
Oh my god.
And if you said water, they dumped water on you.
Yes, yeah, water was water. Yeah, that was a fun little show. You can't do
Remember
that.
Bruce?
And they literally couldn't do it on television anymore.
Alistair.
Like, wait. Oh my god! What if Alistair Black was sitting there and he's like, "You should come knock on my door," or however. I know I made him sound like Dracula, but then someone's like, "Who do you want to challenge you, Alistair?" He's like, "I don't know," and then he just gets fucking slimed, and Shane's just back there with a bucket of slime.
Redder than a lobster.
Oh, so okay, I found something happened last night that bothered me.
No shit.
I could just say I could open every show with that, but this one bugged me.
This is a list of my grievances.
Yeah, this is our Festivus every week, because we missed Festivus that week because I think everybody was sick. Anyway, current Grammy winner, former 24/7 champion, Mr. I love wrestling, I respect the business, I'm training for a match at WrestleMania, all this happy horse shit, gives away the 24/7 championship. This fucking guy comes in, can't even win it. Like, he has Damian Priest knock the guy out and then he gets the pin. He can't even do the respect to the. I know this is a goofy fucking whatever.
That fucking segment was absolutely hilarious.
Why? He can't just pin him?
Because
can't
our
pin him?
truth is gold. It was funny as fuck.
Truth is gold. But you
Titles
could
shouldn't change hands
mixed
because it
the
was a
two
nice
in.
gift. It was a nice gift. He gave him a gift. Like, I get it. He was gonna hit him with the thing, and it ended up being like a nice gift. Fine, here, have the belt. It's cute, but like, goddamn, like I wanted to. The guy had to take a pin. Why? The only reason they wouldn't let him take a pin, I can see my audio clipping right now. I know, is he's going to win at WrestleMania. And they didn't want him taking a pin before WrestleMania. This is how my sick brain works, by the way. This is how my sick brain works. He has to. That's the only reason they wouldn't, because otherwise he'd just take a pin. He's winning at wrestling. Him and Damian Priest are right now, when they're wrestling Miz and Morrison, are going to win. They're just going to win.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to win, and Bad Bunny's probably going to get the pin.
He's
Right,
going to be like a Superfly Splash or something. All right. I don't know who the Facebook.
At least it won't be as bad as the
Agree with
Snoop
me.
Dogg splash.
Snoop Dogg Splash.
Yeah, you fucked that
The
up.
funniest thing I've ever seen, because
It was funny, but it was awful.
he was climbing up to the top rope like how is a 7-foot tall guy afraid of heights? You're already high up there, and Andy's high. So literally, like, I don't know how you'd be afraid of heights. He gets up to the top rope.
Who knows what he was seeing then?
Oh yeah. But here's the funniest part. He goes, move him in closer. And the guy was already pretty goddamn close. So they rolled him closer, and he did like when you first learn to swim and they teach you how to do a pencil dive into the pool, and you just put your hands inside and you pencil dive in. That's
was
what
with
he
his feet and his knees. Like something messed up.
I was waiting for his knees to explode like Kyle's knee testicles in that one episode of South Park. Just because he's a skinny. I give him credit because he's an older guy. He's skinny, lanky. He seems to be in pretty good shape, but then he just does the most unathletic shit I've ever seen.
On the opposite point, though, we can praise Shaq for taking that fucking table bump.
Shaq did a good job.
Holy shit.
We did. You were sleeping.
We put him over last week while you were taking a nap. That was a great match. We talked about the pay-per-view, right? Yeah, because there was a whole explosion thing. So they covered it up pretty well over the course of Dynamite. So,
hello, Tara. Thanks for tuning in.
It only says user on there, so now I know. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for commenting. Yeah. So is there anything else to talk about on Raw? Did we miss? What did we miss? Did we miss anything?
Well, they officially made the Alexa Bliss Randy Orton match. So obviously this is going to be the setup for Fiend to return. It's just how do they do it?
How is this going to go? I just wonder.
Like, is Alexa actually going to get beat up a little bit by Randy, or right off the bat, the Fiend's going to come out, or
I think there's two possibilities. One is it's a cinematic match, and then she can use like Scarlet Witch powers
right
to fight him.
Yeah, because I really don't want Orton to look stupid in this.
But that's what I'm saying. So she could have magical powers, or the black tar that he's been coughing up finally. By the way, WWE filed a trademark request for wrestling use for the term symbiosis, which if you're a fan of Marvel Comics and you know the symbiote known as Venom or Carnage that takes over somebody's body, it seems that they may be going that direction. Remember how we said that the this may be a reverse Fiend situation where the Fiend takes over Randy and then Bray Wyatt's trying to beat the Fiend out of Randy Orton? That could be what they're doing, is that this black sludge takes him over. So there's a possibility that it's cinematic and all this kind of happy horse shit happens.
Special guest referee Papa Shango.
Right. Or they have a straight up or it looks like they're about to have a straight up match. Maybe she gets a couple, because here's the thing. If they go along the route of, when she's in that black costume with the black makeup, she's possessed by the Fiend and then has Fiend powers, right? If they do that, then she could get in a couple like elbow strikes and a couple punches, and he can try and Randy Orton will go to hit her and she'll no-sell it like the Undertaker, like she'll just shake it off like Undertaker or Kane would do, like do big man spots, but she's little. I feel like they might
taking the RKO.
No, I feel like she's already taken the RKO. So I feel like, she took it on Raw a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think they're setting her up for a punt. But before the kick can happen, all the goofy, spooky bullshit's going to happen.
Yeah. What if
everything's set up for her to be kicked in the head? Like, that's what they're going to try and do.
You don't even have a match. You have Orton hit the RKO right out of the gate.
Oh my God!
And he goes for the punt, and will have to be cinematic, but he vomits out the black goo and it forms the Fiend.
Oh, I think the black goo. Do I say it? I had such a terrible thought. I feel like I have to say it.
I mean, look,
you have to say it now.
If they could do a 40-foot CGI Roman Reigns, then
and giant spinning 3D flip flops for Riddle.
I mean, just
do anything.
It'll be a black goo, and then you do a quick switch out.
Season 1 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, when what's her name from Pet Sematary wants to leave the show. There's that thing, the black tar goo creature. They could do that.
Something like that.
The goo, it starts as a spot, and the goo rises up, and then the goo. And then,
exactly.
And then the open eyes, like in the when Rambo is, or when they're hiding from the Predator, and you open the eyes in the mud, and it's like the Fiend eyes. Listen, I have such a great vision for all of this shit. I have a grand plan when I see things spread out like thread attaching things.
Like what if the Fiend did some like Pet Cemetery shit?
Oh, if he kicks Randy Orton kicks Alexa and she's dead, and then Herman Munster tells him where to go bury her so she can come back.
Or that's how Fiend comes back.
Yeah, well, listen, the Fiend, there's a WrestleMania match coming up between these two fucking guys. He has to come back. Like Sunday's pretty much the expiration date on this carton of milk. He's got to come back. Whatever form the Fiend comes back in, I don't know.
And he better fucking win.
That's the other thing.
Because the last one, it's inevitable that he's winning, but you never know.
Sometimes Randy Orton is inevitable. They just turn it on, and then Randy holds every title whenever they want it to, with a quick RKO. It's interesting. I'm glad we're able to talk about it. I don't know where they're going to go with this small woman versus large man match. Unless, like I said, he's about to do the punt or the RKO or whatever, and he starts spitting up the Bobby Lashley cum shot. That was the bad thought that I had earlier that I said I wasn't going to say, and now I said it, so there we go.
Well, you loop back around to it.
That's an
he calls it the Hurt Business.
That's an image. Oh, my God.
He put the Hurt Business all over her face.
The Hurt Spike.
I'm going to see
business is booming.
I'm pre-dicing it up because I'm gonna go see Dice in 2 days. Oh, that's funny. I won't go to Florida for WrestleMania, but I'll like drive an hour to go see Dice.
Dice is fan. Well,
I don't know now.
He
That's
used
the
to
thing
be
I want to
great.
see. I want to see. I've
Used
never.
to be great.
Yeah. But anyway, Raw was Raw. Oh, Asuka. Yeah, Asuka came back and apparently has temporary dental implants right now. And
She looked good.
Yeah. So it's going to take, they said somewhere like 6 months or so to heal and get she has to get like real dental implants and all that. And it's going to take a while.
Is she missing Mania?
No, she cleared concussion.
She
protocol,
wrestled
so
on
she's okay.
Raw last night.
Yeah, she wrestled on Raw
I
last night.
wasn't watching.
Oh, he loves his Chicago Fire.
No, that's on tomorrow.
Oh, it's okay. Austin, what was what's on Monday nights?
The
Yeah,
911s.
No, 911s. Ah, all right, I get it.
That takes priority for me on Monday.
Yeah, so Asuka, it was announced that she cleared concussion protocol. She had a match against Shayna. She whooped Shayna, and then I guess after the match, she whooped on her some more.
She flicked out or something.
Is that what? Somebody give me an
Yeah,
interpretation of what happened. Pretty much. All right.
Asuka came out strong, like attacked her from behind right before the bell rang, and was just aggressive as hell. She took out both Nia and Shayna, and then she took the turnbuckle pad off. She exposed the buckle and she made her bite down on it, which was cool looking. And then she went to stomp her face directly into it, and the ref stopped her and broke it all up. And
tried to curse stomp that bitch.
They couldn't have got Edward Furlong for that.
But it was great, man. Asuka was fired up. Like she was ready to go. So she looked good. And I have to say, I love what they're doing with Nia Jax and Reginald. This whole thing is hilarious. Hilarious.
Was Shayna just sitting there miserable?
Yes, which makes it even better.
Shayna's like all of us. That's what it is, basically.
Yeah, I'm just so they literally did the 80s movie change of clothes montage that was a thing they did with Reginald and Nia. Like they went through.
I was going to say, while we're on the subject, before my phone dies, I've got a little rant, and it's rare that I do these, but I have one because you brought up Nia and Shayna. Now, they're the champions, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, women's tag team titles. NXT TakeOver. You had the Dusty Cup for the women, which was great. Raquel and Dakota won. Awesome. Right? They get a shot at the women's tag team titles. They have a match against Shayna and Nia. Something gets fucked up. And then Regal says he's going to have an announcement for something. All right? So then you get to the night. Regal basically presents a fucking participation trophy version of the titles to Dakota and Raquel for and then they end up looking stupid even more because they lose it in an hour later to Ember and Shotzi. I mean, what the fuck?
Why not make the match for the titles if they're going to switch it?
Well, apparently, I read that the plan was that the Dusty Cup winners for the women were going to become the first NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, but the belts weren't ready yet. And that's why they ended up doing this. And also, why did you have Ember and Shotzi win in the fucking first place?
Yeah,
the whole thing is fucking sense. And it was bad enough that they have to do another women's tag team titles, but
I really think that
anything else?
Yeah, I know, right? He's letting it all out.
That was my rant.
Or at the least, save it for the takeover, right?
Really fucking pisses me off.
Well, I'm
considering
hoping...
the takeover's a 2-night special as well.
And what is yes? What is that about?
Oh no! Another 2-day thing.
They're planning to have a whole week where one night is like the Hall of Fame. Like everything is going to have its own night, and then Takeover is going to have 2 nights, which sounds ridiculous and
It
unnecessary.
does. I don't know how they're going to fill it.
But why? The problem is when you ask a question like why.
That's a loaded question.
It's answered by why not.
Yeah, I know. It's why not, pal?
Hey, pal, come on.
One night's good, 2 nights better. Don't you get it? 1 + 1 is 2. That's more.
2 is all of them.
Yeah.
You get double the entertainment, pal.
28 matches, goddammit. There's
you mean like
28
AEW
matches between
You
2
mean like
nights of wrestling.
AEW Dark?
Yes, it's going to be like an episode of AEW
They
Dark.
have
Holy
like a
Jesus.
billion matches per.
And Elevation, which the Big Show is the comment. It's Big Show and Shivani.
Elevation. Get it? He's tall.
You get it? He's tall. Oh.
The show has to start with everybody asking, "How's the weather up there, Big Show?"
I was so waiting.
I'm sorry, that was a terrible joke.
I feel in a similar terrible joke vein. I feel because the Matt Hardy theme kind of sounds like Matt Hardy's old theme, and
Which
Gun
one?
Club, Matt Hardy's current AEW theme goes ow, do, like the guitars at the beginning of the original Hardy Boys theme.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes,
And then Billy Gunn,
I thought you were talking about the.
Yeah.
Didn't he have another one? No, he didn't.
He had the piano one for when he was broken. But like the Matt Hardy theme sounds like Matt Hardy's old
Yeah.
theme. Gun Club's theme sounds like his old thing. Christian sounds like his old TNA. I want my Big Show ripoff song. Well, he's a tall guy. Well, he's a really
Yes.
tall guy.
And not only that, he needs to make an appearance as Captain Insano.
Well, yes. So, interestingly enough, AEW has filed for the trademark or copyright or whatever, or rights to use the character Captain Insano from the Water Boy with Adam Sandler. For those of you who are,
Sandler's a
We
good
really
wrestling
want
fan,
this?
so-
Like we
I
really,
really
want,
want
that?
this.
No, I'm just
I don't want it for AEW's programming.
But that's what it's going to be, and it's
No,
going to
no,
be
they have
fucking
a-
stupid.
they
Like,
have a
what is Big
video-
Show going to come out as Captain Insano? Like,
They have a
Maybe
video
a-
game coming out.
just a one shot. That's
Yeah, like a backstage skit, and he comes in as Captain Insano.
He's
for-
gonna be in the
10
video
seconds.
game. He's gonna be in the video game as Captain Insane. Like that's gonna be an unlockable costume for
Deal-
the tall guy.
pre-order bonus. There
Yes,
you go.
like I think that's what it's. I that's my speculation because I don't think, considering that Big Show doesn't have the long hair anymore, like he doesn't look like. I mean, he doesn't really
Right.
look like Captain Insano anymore. So he doesn't. So for it to be a special costume in a video game, sure. The other thing I think they should do is they should get Shaq in the video game and also
Yeah.
Steel. They should have an alternate costume for Shaq that is Steel. If you remember the 1993 movie Steel.
I'd like an NBA Jam with wrestling guys.
This video game is being developed by the guy who made No Mercy for the 64
Oh, that's
and
good.
made the Def Jam Fight for New York or whatever the first two good Def Jam games. So yeah, there's a lot riding on this video game. People are very, very excited because of the potential.
Kind of
of
like
a-
how
of an update.
Suicide was created for TNA as a character from the video game. I mean, shit, Gangrel was a video
From a
game character,
table,
right?
it was from a tabletop and a video game.
listen,
Empire game.
the other good thing about this is that the main people that are heavily involved in the development of the game are actual gamers,
Yeah,
like Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks. You know, they game.
Ref
Like,
Aubrey worked for Microsoft, I believe,
Correct.
as a project manager.
I heard
So
that too.
she's project managing AEW's portion of this game development. Her and Kenny Omega.
Without the red lipstick, though.
Ah, yeah. I like that she danced like she's a professional dancer. She gave up professional dancing to become a
Classic,
wrestler.
man. That I didn't know.
Yeah. So she moves like she always dances on AEW Dark. If Billy Gunn is out there, he always grabs her and dances with her. It's kind of like weird.
Their thing.
It's their thing, but it's still like, come on, man, you're pushing 60, and this girl is A, married, and B, half your age. What
He's
are we
still
doing?
Mr. Ass.
Wow, wow. Oh man, how about another one? I'm a butt guy. Wow,
There you go.
I'm a
I
butt
do butt
guy.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this,
Shows.
but check this out.
Maybe if
this-
you got a better webcam. I'm just kidding. LeBron 316, is that what that says?
Even LeBron James is walking around with a custom-made
Oh, yeah.
316.
That's awesome.
I don't doubt
And
it.
he's wearing the Boston Red Sox hat, and I know we're not ones to break other sports news, but LeBron James and his partners have invested in the Fenway Group, which means that LeBron James is now a co-owner of the Boston Red Sox.
Well, the
That's
Boston Red
crazy.
Sox.
And every single Boston Red Sox fan is mad because they're all racist. Screw you, Boston Red Sox.
It's the town.
Sorry, Red Sox fans. It is what it is. Oh,
It's
yeah.
your turn tonight.
Everybody gets a turn. Sometimes it's the Mets. Most of the time, it's the Red Sox. Oh man. Yeah. So AEW last Wednesday had Eddie Kingston explain that he did have like a PTSD thing in Blackout when he was covering John Moxley, which is why he didn't get up after the explosions fizzled.
It was a great promo.
Great promo, him and Moxley. It turns out I heard from somebody who heard from some, basically along the chain of rumors and speculation, is that the smoke bombs went off, the corner thingies went off, but there was another explosion, like a string of fireballs that was supposed to come up in front of the ring that didn't come up in front of the ring. They were all duds. And then Kenny
Ain't
and
that bad a bitch?
because here's the problem. They tested it, and the test explosions worked. But
Yeah, the
that's
test
like-
fireworks worked, and then you go to the real ones,
and yeah,
and you get duds.
part of me is like, if in my head, I would be like, okay, we got to have like a backup to the backup.
Backups. Yeah.
What if this one doesn't go off? We got to have something. Even if the stage exploded, like if they did Cody's pyro on the stage, something. I don't know. Like we needed more boom, but they fucked it up. But then Don Callis came out and Kenny Omega came out, and they implied that maybe they did or didn't turn down the explosion thing and make it weaker.
Right.
To embarrass John Moxley or some other things. They kind of danced around and didn't really leave you with an answer. I think it's
At the end of the day, they played it the right way.
they did
because it buys them time to figure out which direction they want to go,
right.
and they're figuring out a way out. You know what I'm saying? So listen, the shit happens.
Yep.
But it, like we said last week, it didn't ruin the pay-per-view. It didn't ruin the match. I mean, it sucked. I mean, the finish,
Right.
whatever. But it didn't ruin everything. It is what it is. Shit happens. It's pro wrestling.
It's live
you know.
TV, pal.
Yeah,
It's
that's the thing. It's live TV. It's live pay-per-view. They, and you can have your moments like this and come back from it. So, they're not dying. They're not going out of business. Nobody's getting fired. None of the usual, Cat saying they were shooting blanks. That's rough. It's one thing her husband never did. They've got like 12 kids. She can field a baseball team. Anyway.
Active enough to field a baseball team.
Oh my
Ayo.
God. God bless her for living in just a house full of little mongrels running around. I give her all the credit in the world. One of them would have been like Andrea Yates already. I like
Oh my God.
Oh,
anyway, I'm trying to liven
at
up
least
this
you went with the
show.
joke. I
Yeah,
was trying
I'm
to
not
think of the.
I'm not actually going to drown one of her kids. I would never do that. They seem very
I was
nice.
trying to think of the chick who actually drowned her kid.
God,
So-
it was Andrea Yates.
Oh, isn't there another one who supposedly who killed her kid and then said they lost him?
Casey
Yeah.
Anthony?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I was
Oh,
drawing a
wonderful.
blank.
We're all on board for notorious murderers. Anyway, Steve, you were saying
Well, so we
Get
have
us out
about
of this
15
pit.
minutes left. 15 minutes left. So
We're digging.
why don't
Steve's trying to save us, and we're just trying to. We're taking our way to
Seems like we gotta get
cancelization.
back to wrestling.
we need to move on to our picks for Fastlane so we can get out of this conversation by 8 o'clock.
I will not babysit. I will. Here's the deal. I will only babysit your kids if Eric is there, because I feel like he's a distraction.
Oh, I'm a distraction, all right.
You know,
You could say pile up on Eric and just watch
it's
the
like, hey
disaster.
guys, it's time to wrestle Eric, and then you
Ryan,
just
pull up the
ding, ding,
official
ding.
card for Fastlane
Yeah,
and let's run our picks out.
Will do.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know all the matches.
I'm just so shocked that they have this pay-per-view planned and executed it and went forward with it.
Isn't it like 2 weeks till Mania afterwards?
damn near?
I
think
answer
we
my
figured
own
it out.
question.
I think we figured it out last week that it's
Yeah.
exactly like 30 days or something,
Yeah,
or close to it.
April 10th and 11th.
Yeah.
So that's like 20 days, whatever. I don't know. Spitballing. Yeah.
Yeah.
15
2
days
weeks.
to the end of the month. Like 3, right? I think it's 3. 1, 2. Yeah, 3 weeks, I think.
Don't get me wrong. This pay-per-view is still not necessary. as far as
Yes,
I'm
no, it's
concerned.
super unnecessary.
It's not like it's 2 weeks or a week away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was much closer than it was, but
I did too.
thankfully I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it still feels a little weird to have it in there, but Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler with Reginald, take on Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair in a match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship.
I actually think they're going to win. I
Nia
think
and Shayna.
no, I think Sasha and Bianca are going to go into Mania as tag team champions.
Wacky tag team champ thing.
Because that hasn't been done a million times.
Well, but
Not
they
at
also
Mania,
made
though.
reference. Well, but no, it doesn't happen very often at Mania, and they were just making reference to the fact that it's only happened like 2 other times, and the fact that they brought it up makes me think like that's the route they're going to go. Now these two are going to break a record by going in as tag team champions.
I don't know. I kind of think Nia and Shayna with this Reginald thing, unless Reginald somehow gets if the whole Reginald thing turns out that he was with Nia to try and get back at Sasha, I don't know.
Or he's with Sasha or Bianca the entire
He's
time.
really with Bianca. Yeah, exactly. They turn around and he was really with one of them the entire time.
Like if they do a Sasha heel turn, that'd be a good way of turning her heel.
Right, then Reginald's, is with her instead. I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't turn Sasha now. She just turned again. Like, you can't keep fucking flip-flopping. It's driving me crazy. They did it with
Have you seen
Big Show,
Show's career?
Sheamus. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. So even Charlotte, I mean, the amount of time she's bounced back. Fucking Christ. Stick to one and ride with it for a while. Those are the best ones. I'm getting tired of this shit.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks stays face right now.
Charlotte
that's the end
has
of
to
that.
stay babyface because she's on that. She's the new lead for USA Network's Walking Tall. Yes, you heard that right. The story of Buford Puser.
Which also makes me think that's another reason why whatever match Charlotte's in at Mania, she does not win. Because you can't ever be champion and then go fucking film a TV show.
You'd think.
It's like,
But have you seen her last name?
You really want to say that and believe it, but you can't. You can't fully believe it. They could definitely just have the women's champion off of TV for fucking 4 weeks.
It's the Thor meme. Is she though?
Yeah, it's the Thorn. Is she though? Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards title retained Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, but I don't know.
I agree.
Reginald is going to be the key in that match.
Yes, Reginald. Somehow Reginald has become to the key, to a WrestleMania feud. Good for him.
Yeah.
And Carmella's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah, Carmella's just out. We're done with you now. They took her.
Bye,
They
girl.
took her sommelier away.
All right, what else we got?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
Lordy.
Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman as the champion coming out versus Daniel Bryan, Universal Championship.
I mean, I don't-
think Uso will be the special guest enforcer. I mean, this
Yeah,
is the
Roman.
easiest.
That's
Yeah, I don't see
the
it. how
Yeah.
Roman. I don't see how Roman loses this match, so we got to go with Roman.
I can't possibly. Yeah. It's not even worth.
How do you set up the triple threat if Roman wins?
Daniel Bryan looks like he's about to win. Paul Heyman interferes, slips Roman Reigns.
I mean, you might have Edge as the special enforcer.
So here's what that's what I'm saying. Maybe Roman Reigns goes to cheat or DQ himself or something like that, and then Edge steps in as the enforcer, and like the match gets thrown out because the enforcer.
What if I got one? I'll do you one better. If
Heyman
steps in, when Heyman's stepping in, Edge goes for the spear, hits Bryan, and then rolls out.
Yep. Yeah, that's
or no, and then Roman hits him with the spear, and then gets the pin.
Or was there a match where either Shawn was the special ref and Brett was wrestling, or Brett was a special ref?
It was HBK was the special guest referee. Undertaker Brett. He couldn't lay his hands on Brett. He wails on Taker with the chair, and then counts the pin for Brett. Something like that.
That's what I'm saying. So there we go. I mean, they've got a lot of tricks they can do with a special enforcer ringside. So that's one of them. It's the old.
End of the day, Roman Reigns is leaving.
Yeah, I don't think he leaves without a belt.
Yes, he's going into Mania as champion.
Absolutely.
What else?
Probably walking out as champion too.
I kind of want to see Edge just because he's the Rumble winner.
I want to see Edge win, but realistically, in my head, I know that's a silly thing to think.
Yeah.
Big E,
I mean, if Edge didn't win the Rumble, I'd be fine. But since he won the Rumble,
there's something about the Rumble winner going on, winning. Yeah,
it's like the Money in the Bank briefcase. You don't want to see him lose.
Exactly. Big E as the champ versus Apollo Crews for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Big E is showing his more serious side since splitting with the New Day. Apollo Crews got really wrapped up in an email scam and now talks like the king of Zamunda.
Hey, that guy, that Somalia king, was legit about giving him millions of dollars, and his lineage is all right. Come on,
yeah, I know
that email was super legit.
He's the only one that's ever responded to that email, and
he's going all Captain Phillips now.
I mean, he's got the guys with him.
The villain from Captain Phillips.
Apparently, the actual. Like the secretary of the president of Nigeria put out a statement congratulating Apollo Crews or whatever for like coming out as Nigerian. I don't know what the term is. I
think you're right.
Yeah. So anyway, apparently the Nigerian government is very pleased with this revelation of his heritage.
Maybe Nigeria will be the new Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Biggie. I think either way, Biggie is leaving victorious.
Drew McIntyre and Sheamus in a Who Gives a Shit match.
Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because who gives a shit?
But I still think Sheamus gets added into the title picture.
Very well could be, man.
That's the triple threat I think we're getting.
Because
we'll see.
I mean, either
if you get that, then Sheamus needs that pin.
No, I think that what they do is they add Daniel Bryan so Edge can pin Daniel Bryan, or they add Sheamus so Drew can pin Sheamus, and then you have.
No, I agree. I'm talking at Fastlane.
Okay.
Sheamus needs the win since Bobby Lashley beat him on Raw. He needs a path in.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like if they're just going with a singles match, they're just gonna put Drew over, and full steam ahead. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in a Slime Time Live green slime on a pole ladder match. I'm kidding. It's just a singles match, but I'm sure there'll be slime involved.
I'm sure it's gonna be some DQ smoths to drag it out.
Right. This has to continue to WrestleMania, and when they announced that Nickelodeon is part of Peacock, Braun Strowman is going to power slam.
Is it?
Well, see, now this one I've really got to think about, because if it ends at Fastlane, then I think Braun goes over. But if this is going to go out through Mania, then I think Shane's going to get the win at Fastlane to carry it over to Mania, and Braun's going to get the Mania win.
Yeah, Shane's going to get like a fluke like a roll up, grab the tights or whatever, or like when Big Show lost to Cody because he stepped through the table in tables match.
Yeah.
Something of that sort where the big man does a big man thing and gets
He
counted
slips
out.
on the banana and loses.
Right, and then Shane puts that shocked look on his face like he always does, and then he wins, and then he loses the rest of the
I just thought of something. What if Nicholas comes out and turns on Braun? That's how
Oh
Shane
my
wins.
god!
Oh,
Nicholas
jeez.
should- I mean, what the fuck? At this point,
I mean, look, I'll
Nicholas
tell
would be a
you what,
welcome addition.
I enjoyed Seth when Seth Rollins won because Jon Stewart turned on Cena. I loved that.
That was so strange.
Yeah, it
That
was.
an odd thing that happened.
Jon
I
Stewart
thought
was
big
really
time.
awkward. I'm not gonna
just
lie to you
don't-
on that one.
Because you don't want to boo the guy. He did all this for the guy, the 9/11 survivors and shit. Like, how are we?
I
gonna
wanted to
this-
boo him.
I know what I'm saying. How
I
do
was
you
fine
boo
with booing him.
him? But how do you set that guy up to be booed?
I'll tell you what, though, it was interesting in the way they did it because they had him say the reason why is because he didn't feel like Flair should, his record
You
should
know,
be
yeah.
broken.
At least he gave a reason for it.
There was a well thought out reason instead of.
But it still made fucking Seth look like a dingus because it's like, oh, you can't beat John Cena. Somehow Jon Stewart has to help you to beat John Cena,
Yeah.
and then talk about how Flair is a better. Like everything was. Oh wow, Autumn cried when Jon Stewart did that. She's not a fan of the Daily Show, apparently.
Nope.
And then
I agree. I second
He's
that
a
notion.
Colbert person.
the number.
I
6
dislike that even more.
There's only 6 matches announced, and the last one we talked about ad nauseum: Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. I don't even know. I don't think there's going to be a finish. I don't think there will be no. I don't even know if a bell will even ring.
If there is
I
a
think we get a
finish,
bell.
I will
Ryan,
say this:
can you
if there,
add like a non-finish to the
Yeah,
I plan on it.
For that one, you have to. Yeah.
if there
Yeah.
is a finish to the match and there is a bell, I'm going with Alexa Bliss.
you have
Yeah.
to.
by DQ.
So
Yeah, whatever it is,
whatever,
She
Alexa
gets-
Bliss.
fiend powers and beats him. Yeah, something's going to happen. I don't know.
Just rips
Is-
Orton's head off and eats it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they had Shayna bite Becky Lynch on the back of her neck and that's
Yeah.
still, they never explained that. Is Shayna a vampire? I don't know. But yeah, so just go biting Willie Pete.
That's for next month. She'll be a vampire.
There we go.
She died of boredom and came back as a vampire.
Oh, what if? That would be so funny. She's the boredom vampire. All right, Steve's giving us the Iggy here. He put the thing at the bottom. Thanks for joining us. So I guess we should wrap up. This was a good discussion this week. Nice to have.
He's off camera
back.
going like this.
Yeah, he's like checking. He's tapping his watch. Like that. As you
You
know,
dug us into a hole deep
Right,
enough.
yeah.
We gotta go.
as you know, if we end the show too late, Steve gets yelled at by his lovely wife, and she is his lovely wife, and she has every right to yell. But it's just funny because sometimes we'll stretch it out, and I'll just talk and just add things, see if we can make him later for dinner, like I'm doing now. Anyway, let's wrap things up. That's it. I'm not gonna hang you out to dry there, Steve. You gotta get going.
Thank you for that.
Thank you guys for tuning in this week.
He thanks you for not having to sleep on the couch.
Right, yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up right on time. So if you are new, thank you for joining us. If you're not new, thank you for continuing to support us. Go to it's dinner time, much like it's boss time or Vader time or big dog time or whatever. Anyway,
I died a little with the big dog time.
big dog time, yeah. It's big dog time. You can follow our social media. It's at Tag Me a Date. That's Tag Me a Date, no spaces. We're all over the internet: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, etc., at Tag Me a Date. Go to youtube.com, type in Tag Me a Date. You'll find our channel. You hit subscribe, hit the bell, and then you'll be alerted when we go live or when we upload a new video. We go live 7 p.m. Eastern time. So just check your clocks. You might have noticed if your country does not recognize daylight savings time that we're on an hour later tonight. That's what happens once every 6 months or so. And so just look at your clock, adjust it as necessary. 7 p.m. on Eastern time, we go live Tuesday nights. Twitch.tv/War Report is our Twitch. We need 1,000 there to be partners. We need 1,000 on YouTube to get a custom URL, I believe.
Also, comment, so we
comment.
break through the algorithm.
Comments, thumbs ups, shares.
Tell us what match you're looking forward to this week
give
on
us something in
Fastlane.
the comments. We'll read it out. If you have a prediction or you have something wacky you think's going to happen, we'll read it out. We definitely want you to comment and share and get people engaged, because we're seeing more and more listeners. Ryan's been sharing with us the viewership numbers, and it seems really positive, and we hope that if you're enjoying it, you tell your friends about it, you share the podcast with your friends, because if you don't want to just watch the video version that's streaming on Facebook, on Periscope, on Twitch, etc., you can just listen to the audio version of this podcast. It goes up later Tuesday evening, sometime Tuesday night, as soon as the video is done processing.
As soon as we're done.
Right.
As soon as we're done here, it goes right up.
Oh, wow. I thought it took more processing time.
With StreamYard, we're able to just download the recording.
Even better. So that goes right up to your podcast app of choice. As I said earlier, on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play Podcast, and Apple Podcast. You just search for The War Report or Tag Me a Date. Either one will yield you a result. Hit subscribe, and then every week, if you are subscribed, the audio version goes right into your podcast app. You can listen to it while you're at the gym, while you're making your bed, whatever it is that you do throughout the day. Kill a little time, listen to our podcast. So we really appreciate you tuning in this week. We hope to catch you again next week, where we review Fastlane and everything else that's going on in the wrestling world. This has been The War Report by TagMeDate.com. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m.